Hi, everyone. Welcome again to our weekly lunchtime symposium. It's great to see so many of you all joining us today. Really looking forward to this topic and further discussion that we're going to have. So again, just to introduce who we are, this is Futuro. We're an organization that focuses on promoting careers in healthcare, as well as kind of focusing on mental health and well-being. Kind of headed up by both Daisy Cardenas and Maira Perez Arce, who is the founder of Futuro. And so just wanted to quickly go over a couple things before we get started with today's scheduled topic and guest. And so to start us off, we're just going to kind of get grounded, kind of take a break from the earlier part of the day and do a quick relaxation exercise with Maira.
All right, we're going to shift and take charge and find confidence with stress. The first step is taking charge. If you want to shift your response to stress to have more capacity for endurance, you have to be able to take charge with your body. So the first step to take charge with your body is what we call a heart-focused breath. The reason why we start with a heart-focused breath is because your heart has a unique nervous system that communicates more to your brain than your brain does to your heart. In response to stress, the instinct of our brain is to shut down in portions. Because of that, our stress response is to narrow our focus and not take in all the information around us. That decreases our response to stress in performance and endurance. Don't do that. So when you can come to a place where you can shift your brain to be alert and calm, your brain starts working at its full capacity. So to shift from just alert to alert and calm, start with heart-focused breath. Find your heart. And then I want you to imagine breathing 5 slow breaths into your heart area. This automatically shifts your body energy to support your mind. 3 more breaths. 3, 4. Okay, take 1 more breath and then come back to me. We're going to move to the second step, find confidence. When your mind strengthens your whole body, that changes your heart rhythm from chaotic, which is common in stress, to smooth and strong. When your heart rhythm is smooth and strong, this affects your whole body's ability to endure. It increases your endurance with stress. Let me teach you how to do that. Find your brain, and I want you to focus your brain on an image that is positive and brings you positive emotions. Emotions like happy, admiration, belief. It might be an image that's a memory, a person, or something to come, like a performance, such as a basketball game. Athletes use this technique to increase the performance and endurance in training and in competition. But you can use this every day in your everyday experiences of stress. Once you have your picture, I want your body to follow your positive image. When we are stressed, we lose our boundaries and definition physically. So find your definition, find that distinction. Let yourself become more real along with that image. Now come back to your picture. Let's combine take charge and find confidence. So first, find your heart. Second, find your picture. And now I want you to breathe your picture into your heart area for a count of 5. Okay, 1 last breath. Come back into your environment. You should be in a more alert and calm state. This is a skill of take charge, find confidence that you can take anywhere you go to take charge of any stress circumstance. Take charge find your confidence.
That's such an important exercise, not just kind of in dealing with stress, but just kind of being present kind of throughout your day-to-day life. So moving on, now that we're kind of feeling settled and grounded, want to introduce today's speaker, as well as kind of go over the health career that we're going to be talking about today. And so right now we have kind of our matrix up there for the variety and diversity in the healthcare careers. Today we're going to be focusing on the career of registered nurse, which is an incredibly diverse career field. We're lucky enough to have Maira Reynosa joining us today. She's a registered nurse working in labor and delivery at Marin County General Hospital. She's from Northern California, from the area, went to school at Sonoma State, and has been working on the labor and delivery floor at Marin Health. And so I'd like to introduce her and have her kind of share with you all a bit more about her role in healthcare, how she came to be a nurse, and the kind of local impact she has on patient care. So yeah, let's welcome Maira.
Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah. Thank you, Navi, for such a great introduction. So as Navi said, my name is Maira Reynosa, and I am a labor and delivery nurse. I will be sharing a little bit about my journey here. Yeah, and so you can bring up my PowerPoint if you like, Daisy. So I do want to point something out. I have been a volunteer in the past for Futuro, and I am so impressed with the resource that it provides to high school students in Sonoma County. And so I just wanted to put that out there, and it's just a great organization. And thank you for having me here today, and thank you for providing this to our students here in the county. And I wish I would have had something like this when I was growing up. And yeah, and so you can put the next slide. So there's different routes to nursing. There's not just one. And it's great because you can choose your own journey. You can choose whatever is best for you. And so there's the ADN program, so the Associates of Nursing degree program. And that's like if you were to go to the junior college here in Santa Rosa. There's also the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So you could choose to go to like Sonoma State University. I know they have a program there, which is great. I've heard great things about it. And also other universities also offer that program. And then there's also the way I got my nursing degree, which is a little bit different. So the Master of Science in Nursing. And so for that, I had to have my bachelor's. It wasn't in nursing. So it was an entry-level accelerated program in which I obtained both my master's and then my nursing degree while I did this program. And so it was pretty intense because you got to do your clinical rotations, and I obtained it at University of San Francisco. And so I had to commute back and forth, and that was also a challenge for me, but it was doable. And I overcame all these barriers, and I'm here today. And I'll talk a little bit more about my own route. And so on the next slide here. So I am from Humboldt County. So my family still resides there in a small town called Fortuna. And so my family is originally from Michoacan, Mexico. And so they came here, worked, have been working all their lives. And so I am the first in my family to attend college. And so in high school, I didn't know I was going to go to college. And so my counselor, she recommended that I apply to the junior college there, which I did. And, I didn't know I had other options. And so then there was this lady from another program that I was involved in, Upward Bound. she encouraged me to apply to more schools, right? Because I could get scholarships, and then I also had the grades to do so. And so she encouraged me. And so I did. And I honestly, I didn't even think I was gonna go, to college. I was just like going with the flow, of course. And so I applied to a few colleges. I didn't even want to apply to many. I was just like, okay, well, I'll just apply. And so I applied to Sonoma State, and then I applied to Humboldt State, and I did end up getting into Sonoma State. And it was really hard for me to decide to go away from home, and my family was really not happy about it, because I was the first one to go away from home. And but it was good for me. And I ended up going to getting my bachelor's of kinesiology there at Sonoma State, and also a minor in Spanish. And it took me a while. I did it in 5.5 years, and for me that was perfect. A lot of people finish their bachelor's in about 4 years, but for me, I really enjoyed college, so I wasn't in no rush, and I worked during my college years too. So during my college years, I ended up volunteering at the hospital because I really enjoyed the sciences, and I really wanted to do something healthcare related. And so I ended up volunteering, and I was able to see the nursing care, and being able to work with nurses. I really enjoyed seeing the one-on-one care that they provided to their patients. And so I really much fell in love with nursing, and I wanted to pursue it after I got my bachelor's. And so what I did is I took a few years after a few years after college, and I worked. I actually got my certificate in medical assisting, and I worked at a clinic. Meanwhile, I finished my prereqs for nursing. And so I very much enjoyed my patient care, my provider relationship. And then I also was able to I enjoyed working for the organization that I did. It was a great organization, very, very caring for its patients. And so I worked there, and then I finished my prereqs, and then I was able to look into different nursing programs. And so my hopes was to get into an ADN program. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get into the wait list. And, I was hoping to apply to Napa, to Marin, to here at Santa Rosa. And I was like, okay. But I ran into the master's program at University of San Francisco. I ran across the page there and online. And so I was able to apply because I had all my prereqs, and then I also had my bachelor's, which was one of the biggest prereqs for that program. And so I applied. I didn't realize how intense it was and how expensive it was, but I ended up accepting it. And now, I am able to be a registered nurse, and that was my journey. And so, in the next page or the next slide, I'll highlight a few things that I did during my 2 years there at University of San Francisco. So I was part of a joint venture health initiative, and so I and two other ladies, which we requisite for that initiative was that you had to be Spanish speaking. So all of us were Spanish speaking, and we all had different backgrounds. All of our families came from different parts of Latin America. And so what we did is that we not only were able to do our clinical rotations at hospitals, but we were also able to do clinical rotations at primary care health facilities. And so we did it primarily at La Clínica de la Raza in Oakland. And so most of our patients were monolingual Spanish-speaking patients. And so we focused a lot on providing preventative care for them. And also we coached them on how to, or also known as health coaching, we health coached them in their care. Most of them had many of our patients had diabetes, hypertension, and so we helped them in being able to better manage those diseases and chronic illnesses. So it was a great experience for me. I was able to see both the nurse career and the bedside nursing at hospitals and also at out in the community. And for me, I really much enjoyed my my patients there. And I also was part of an immersion program. And so I studied abroad for a winter session in Puebla, Mexico. And so I was able to study at Universidad Iberoamericana. And for a few weeks with other students, we were able to go around to different communities, both within Puebla and outside of Puebla. And we were able to do like health assessments. You can see that I was doing some blood pressures there. I was also doing BMIs on children at a school near Mexico City. And that was a great experience. And what I really enjoyed the most was being able to go to Quetzalan, which is a Pueblo Mágico, also known like a magic city in Mexico. We were able to stay at a really small hotel run by women. And so they were able to show us how to make pomada, which is like an ointment that has herbal properties, and and so we were able to learn how to do that, and that was I really much enjoyed it, and meeting the women there and like their story, and it was a great experience for me to see like the overall healthcare system in Mexico, and and so I'm now a labor and delivery nurse. You can see the picture there in the next slide, just for fun, a selfie. And so I'm a labor and delivery nurse at Marin Health Medical Center, and I'm pretty new there. And so after graduating, I did a new grad program that focused on labor and delivery up in Humboldt County at St. Joseph's Healthcare. And I was able to do that. And then I now am an experienced almost 2 years labor and delivery nurse. And so I very much enjoy being at the bedside with moms who are, soon to be moms through their labor process. And so that's what I love to do. And and so if you have any questions, let me know. There's different fields in nursing. So there's not only the labor and delivery, you can do med surg, you can do be in the surgical field. You could do public health nursing. That's something I could also do because I do have my public health certificate. There's just so many things in nursing that you could do, and it's awesome. We especially like for me, it's nice to see other people of color in the field. I do encourage you to look into it, and and so let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. That's great. I think your journey definitely highlights something that's so true about a lot of healthcare careers, nursing especially, which is just kind of the variety in terms of steps, in terms of how you can get to an end career goal, and that endpoint isn't necessarily a true endpoint. Like you said, there's so much flexibility in nursing in terms of where to go in your career, whether that is kind of remaining on labor and delivery, pursuing other possibilities in public health or leadership. So much to do. And I think also just so important as well to really kind of when looking at disparities that exist in representation among the healthcare fields, it's really disproportionate in terms of underrepresented minorities in healthcare, especially in nursing. And that has such an impact on patient well-being, on health outcomes. Just knowing that, if the team taking care of a patient is of the same racial ethnic makeup as the patient, mothers have better outcomes on labor and delivery, babies do better. It's such an important public health issue. So yeah, so if anyone has questions, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand. You can also type it into the chat. I was just hoping if you could, just kind of in a general sense, if you had tips for high school students that are interested in at least considering a career in nursing, or for those who definitely know they want to get to nursing, any tips or suggestions that you have for them?
Yeah, I think because I sort of started nursing like later on in my life. But if you can like volunteer somewhere, I know a lot of places, and, you know, really like students to volunteer, like even just like doing like, you know, a lot of places have where you could work on like office stuff. You know, I know that's like simple and stuff, but if you were to just be there and kind of see like what, like especially like at community health centers, like you could volunteer there or like reach out to them and see what little things you can do for them, and they very much appreciate that. So volunteering is like a big thing. Also just I mean, you don't have to necessarily like look into taking I mean like science classes, but if you can like start into like taking biology or just getting more involved with like your teachers there and your sciences, that I think is kind of something important too, like because it does look good when you can volunteer or do other stuff that's outside of school as well. And so I think that could be some things that you can start doing now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of, especially a lot of the community health organizations have also opportunities for volunteer work, but also kind of paid positions as well. So definitely something to look into. So question here. So what's one of your patient experiences that was inspiring to you? Kind of something that continues to inspire you, brings you joy, or kind of makes you think?
Yeah, for me, I remember one of my patients. She was Latino, Spanish speaking only, or Spanish speaking only, and she just the bond that I created with her was amazing for me. I still remember her because I was able to she was able to tell me a little bit more about her story, and how she came to this country, and just how she's struggling with not being with her family. For me, that kind of like has stayed with me, and it kind of makes me look beyond, you know, just the bedside care, and kind of like know that they have stories, right? My patients have stories. Everybody has a different story. It's, you know, they're not just my patient, you know, they're family members. They're, you know, they have their own struggles. And so I like to look into, you know, what it is that I can provide, just that's not just at the bedside, but also like if they need any other support, you know. And so that has kind of stuck to me, and it kind of like just made a deeper bond, because, you know, both our families are from Mexico, and that was that stayed with me has stayed with me for now. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Navi?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
not to cut in, but some people are sending questions to my.
Yeah, definitely, please.
But Myra, one of the questions was, you mentioned that you were a medical assistant while you were doing your prereqs for nursing, correct?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more
Daisy,
about
you
that?
froze.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and how that helped you with your career in nursing?
Yeah. So I did my medical assistant certificate through Boston Reed. I'm not sure if it's still something that is available, but I know that you can do it at Empire College here. And so I was able to work at a community health center, and it helped me a lot because I was able to establish relationships with the providers there, and a lot of them ended up like writing letter of recommendations to the school that I applied, and I mean, it just, for me, it helped me a lot with my skills. Like I was able to learn how to do immunizations and all of that. A lot of the skills that I already do as a nurse, right? And so, like that helped me a lot. Just in my University of San Francisco, a lot of the things that we needed to be checked off, I already had those competencies. So.
Great, so that's awesome. And as we mentioned before, medical assistant is one of the more like faster programs that you can go through. So if students are interested in nursing and they want to start with medical assisting, they can obtain their license within, or their certificate within 1 to 2 years. So definitely something to keep in mind. Navi, I did send you another question that someone submitted to me.
Yeah. Could you talk a bit more kind of about what makes the role of labor and delivery nurse like unique, and then especially kind of contrasting that to potentially the role of a midwife, kind of what it is that you do, what makes that kind of a unique position?
Yeah, so it is a specialty. So a lot of what we do is we support women during their labor process, and that is like taking orders for like inductions. You know, a lot of mom come in for like either mechanical or medical interventions to be able to have their babies. And so also just we are able to circulate in the C-sections. And so there's a lot of little skills and duties that we have to do. I do work nights, so that is an added thing for me as a nurse. I have to work 12 hours nights, 3 days a week. And so I also, yeah, so I mean, it's a specialty, and you have to know a lot about like the different stages in labor, and being able to learn how, you know, the cervix dilates and all of that. And so, I mean, that's just a little bit about it, but I mean, there's a lot more to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're really kind of there present with a patient, with the family kind of throughout the whole labor process.
Yeah. And then you have to be ready to like after the mom has the baby, you have to be able to watch out for, you know, other complications that can arise, like hemorrhaging and all of that. So you stay with the mom. You can have up to 2 moms laboring, and then afterwards you stay with them for 2 hours for recovery and all of that. So
yeah. So you're really kind of pretty intimately involved kind of with their care while they're in the hospital. Yeah. Sounds like one of the main caregivers and providers when they're on labor.
Did you ask something about midwifery though?
Yeah, I think someone was wondering just a little if you could just speak a little bit how your role kind of contrasts a little bit from that of a nurse midwife.
Okay, yeah. So you could further your nursing degree with becoming a midwife if you wanted to be more like the provider for the patient. Like if I were to choose to be a midwife in the future, I can go to school again and then provide more like you're more like the provider. Like you make orders, you give orders to nurses, and you are also there at the bedside. So it's just furthering your nursing degree as well. So
yeah, so kind of another route of specialization. Awesome. Do we have, let's see, any other questions from anyone? Daisy, anything else coming through?
No, I think that was the last question, and then we are moving towards the end. So we'll just have a couple announcements before we close out, but I want to go ahead, Navi.
Okay, great. Well, Maira, thank you so much. Super informative. Really appreciate hearing your perspective on your career and sharing that with everyone. So thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you, Maira. So everybody stick around just for a couple more minutes. We have a couple announcements about next week, and I'm going to launch a poll really quick.
Yeah, so next week, next Wednesday on the 24th, we will be lucky enough to have, oh gosh, poll's in the way. Here we go. We're going to have Maria Zavala join us to talk about her career as a licensed clinical social worker within the Kaiser system. It's again, kind of talking about different specializations of roles. It's again, kind of a unique role with a lot to share for folks who are hoping to go into both kind of careers in nursing, social work, patient advocacy, community work. So really hoping you all can join us and learning more from Maria.
And before everyone leaves, so you know how Maira was just talking about I think someone asked the question about what can high school students do now to gain experience, some insight, and what will look good on your applications when you apply to nursing programs. Well, here's a perfect example. So Kaiser Permanente has this program called KP Launch. And right now they have the application periods for high school students that are interested in doing a 6-week paid summer work experience at their local Kaiser sites. And the application closes on February 22nd. So you have a few days to apply. Please spread the word. They're looking for, you know, kind of like the same thing as Mi Futuro. They're focusing on diverse populations that are underrepresented in healthcare fields. But you get weekly workshops, you get mentorship, you get to build relationships, you get a lot of networking opportunities, and you get to really see what work is being done in the healthcare fields. And it covers a variety of different fields that you may be interested in. So not only is it a nice little gig to have over the summer, but it'll really help you gain some insight. So just if you're looking into it, let me see if I have it up. Yeah, here it is. So go to KP Launch, just type it in, it'll bring you here to the page, and look up high school program. They also have college programs. It looks like it's closed. Their application is closed. They pay a little higher, and because it's a different kind of opportunity, but it looks like it might be closed. You could follow up with them, you can contact them directly, but the high school program is still available. Applications are still available. I think this is a pretty sweet opportunity for those of you who may be interested in these fields. And then lastly, as you know, if you didn't get to see if you didn't get to see this, or if you want to rewatch this and rewatch some of Maira's presentation, please check us out on YouTube, Mi Futuro. Also, please go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram to get more information that's coming up for future workshops. But just remember, follow us next week for Maria Zavala. She's a really great speaker, really powerful lady, and she knows a lot about social work, and she also has her own private practice, so she can talk a little bit more about that. But other than that, for the question in the chat, the KP launch is through Kaiser. We're just helping promote it. So go ahead and check them out on their website. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to happen over the summer, but go ahead and apply and check them out on their website. But other than that, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Maira, and thank you, Nabi. And we hope to see you all next week. Bye.